Part 28. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 272. Mikoto, what's wrong with you? Kushina patted Mikoto's back gently and asked worriedly. She also knew that her best friend Mikoto was not happy in the family, and that stinky man named Uchiha Fugaku had been pestering her. In the past, Mikoto also has a grandfather who is an elder to support her. But since her grandfather passed away at the beginning of this year, even the last person to support her has disappeared. So when Kushina found out that Mikoto was a little weird, she first time reminded me of Uchiha Fugaku. I wonder if that guy with the fierce eyes is pestering Mikoto again? I'm fine. Mikoto shook her head, letting go of Kushina, and then looked at the man next to her. Boy. It was far away just now, so Mikoto couldn't see it clearly. Now that she was closer, she realized that the boy with Kushina's face was too tender. It's exactly the face of a teenager. He looks very young. Kushina, who is he? Mikoto looked at Kushina and asked. This is Ryusuke Yagamai, my good friend I just met. Kushina quickly introduced it to her best friend. Hello, my name is Yagamai Ryusuke, and I am Kushina's friend. You must be 363 Uchiha Mikoto, right? Kushina mentioned you several times yesterday. Ryusuke. Yagamai said with a smile. Hello, Ryusuke-kun. Mikoto greeted Ryusuke Yagamai generously, and then said, what did Kushina say about me? Did you say anything bad about me? How come? Kushina quickly blinked at Yagamai Ryusuke. Although Kushina didn't say anything bad about Uchiha Mikoto yesterday, she said a lot of bad things about Uchiha Fugaku. She also complained that Mikoto was too kind. If she changed if it had happened to her, she would have beaten Uchiha Fugaku and so on. Seeing this, Ryusuke Yagamai would naturally not tell Mikoto what Kushina had said before. Next, the original team of the two became 3 people. With Mikoto joining, Kushina also took her to chat about some topics between girls. Ryusuke Yagamai stood aside and interjected from time to time, which didn't seem out of place. After walking around like this, Mikoto also mentioned her marriage to Uchiha Fugaku. When she heard that Uchiha Fugaku, a shameless guy, wanted to force Mikoto to marry him, Kushina was immediately furious and looked like she wanted to masturbate. She rolled up her sleeves and went to fight Uchiha Fugaku. Mikoto was so frightened that she quickly stopped her and told Kushina that she would not agree. Is the relationship between Uchiha Mikoto and Uchiha Fugaku in this world so bad? Ryusuke Yagamai listened to the conversation between the two and thought to himself. However, this is okay. If this happens, the great filial son of the ninja world will not be born. In addition, the ultimate boss Kaguya Itsutsuki has already cooled down. The real filial son Black Zetsu was also killed by Uchiha Madara himself. At present, there seems to be no danger in the ninja world. At most, there are some frictions between the 5 major countries. But in comparison, these are just children, it's just the same trick as everyone else. It's not worth mentioning at all. In the afternoon, Mikoto and Kushina made an appointment to go shopping together and buy some clothes. Yagamai Ryusuke said that he had taken a step in advance, and he didn't try to save Yagamai Ryusuke. After all, Yagamai Ryusuke seemed to have something important to do. Moreover, they also made an appointment for the 3 of them to have dinner together in the evening. On the other side, Yagamai Ryusuke said goodbye to Kushina and Kushina. After the 2 Mikotos, they left Konoha directly. As for Madara Uchiha, who he left behind in Konoha, Ryusuke Yagamai found out that this guy had been in the Uchiha clan territory, and he didn't know what he wanted to do. Could it be that he was planning to return to Konoha again? Palm Uchiha? Ryusuke Yagamai guessed. If this is the case, there is no problem. Ryusuke Yagamai had also thought about how to arrange Madara Uchiha in this world before. After thinking about it, he thought that he should stay in this parallel world. In the ninja world, it is a good idea to collect more biological pheromones for yourself. After all, Ryosuke Agamai cannot do this himself. For the Otsutsuki clan on the Otsutsuki planet, he must do it himself. After all, except for him, going to anyone else would be equivalent to death. However, the biological pheromones of these ordinary ninjas in the ninja world are different. If Ryosuke Agamai comes in person, why bother to die? So, this kind of inconvenience, it is just right to hand over any kind of chores that require strength but are very time-consuming to Uchiha Madara, a tool man. However, these will have to wait until Ryosuke Agamai comes back from the planet Otsutsuki. For now, he planned to find that Otsutsuki Ishiki. I asked him about the coordinates of the planet Otsutsuki. It's not difficult to find Otsutsuki Ishiki. In fact, Ryosuke Agamai has already been eyeing him. At this time, on an overseas island. On an island of thousands of square kilometers, a huge manor is located here. This is Otsutsuki Ishiki's lair. It's just that unlike the ninja world where Yagamai Ryosuke lives, Otsutsuki Ishiki in this world has just founded the shell organization, and there are currently no future members. In the huge manor, except for Otsutsuki's reincarnated Cicien, there was just a pair of mind-controlled servants. The shell organization that will be famous in the ninja world in the future is really just an empty shell now. At this time, somewhere in the manor, Otsutsuki Ishiki is studying the power of his own bond and plans to modify it to make it more suitable for the next container. At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared in front of him, looking at him with a smile. Otsutsuki Ishiki, long time no see. Ryosuke Agamai suddenly came out of the red portal, startling Otsutsuki. Who are you? Otsutsuki Ishiki was shocked when his identity was revealed. He didn't expect that someone would know his true identity despite being so well hidden. Is this guy from Kaguya? Yesterday, Otsutsuki Ishiki he sensed that the power of the Ten Tails and Kaguya's aura reappeared in the ninja world. At that time, he was worried, would Kaguya find him? After all, he was not ready yet, and Cicien's body could not exert too much strength. The power of the contract. He cannot let him burst out his true power. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Fila Novel Network. Once he is discovered by Kaguya in this state, what will greet him will be annihilation disaster. Fortunately, Kaguya's aura only appeared for a moment and then disappeared zero. Otsutsuki Ishiki thought that Kaguya was sealed again. He even laughed at Kaguya. Little did they know, Kaguya Otsutsuki had been killed by Ryosuke Agamai. It's not as simple as being sealed. At this time, facing the strange guy in front of him, Otsutsuki Ishiki was also carrying it carefully. But his caution seemed a bit ridiculous to Ryosuke Agamai. Don't be nervous, I'm just here to ask you something. As long as you answer me honestly, I won't embarrass you. Ryosuke Agamai said. Otsutsuki Ishiki is not his target. His target is the Otsutsuki clan on the Otsutsuki planet. After all, Otsutsuki Ishiki is just an ordinary member of the Otsutsuki clan. People like him, there are a lot of people on the planet Otsutsuki. Ryosuke Agamai is not stupid, so he will naturally not behave like losing the watermelon and picking up sesame seeds. What do you want to ask? Otsutsuki Ishiki asked. I don't know the identity of the person in front of me, but Otsutsuki Ishiki can feel the terror of the opponent. That is not something he can match. If he is still at his peak, then Otsutsuki Ishiki is not afraid of this people. But now, Otsutsuki Ishiki feels that he should cooperate with the other party first. If the other party really just wants to ask something, as long as he can say it, it won't be a problem. I want to know the space coordinates of the planet Otsutsuki. Just tell me, or take me there, that's fine. Ryosuke Agamai said straightforwardly. Hearing this, Atsutsuki Ishiki frowned. What do you want the coordinates for? He asked rhetorically. Just leave it alone and just say whether you want to give it or not. Ryosuke Yagami said. Okay, I can give you the coordinates of the planet Atsutsuki. Atsutsuki Ishiki nodded and said. It's just a coordinate, there's nothing he can't give. Moreover, Atsutsuki Ishiki is still thinking that if the guy in front of him really wants to go to the Atsutsuki planet in 2.9, he may die in the end. I know. Do you really think that anyone can go to the headquarters of their Atsutsuki clan? Do you really think that with a little strength, you will be invincible? Atsutsuki Ishiki couldn't help but sneer in his heart. Since this guy is looking for death, why can't he succeed? Other side. Here you go, these are the spatial coordinates of the Atsutsuki planet, but don't blame me for not reminding you, you can't go to that place casually. Atsutsuki Ishiki reported a series of spatial coordinates to Yagami Ryosuke, and then said something. This sentence seemed to be reminding Yagami Ryosuke. But in fact, it was Atsutsuki Ishiki who felt that the person in front of him they must be arrogant people. And most arrogant people have a problem. That is, they have a strong rebellious mentality. If you don't let me do it, I will do it. What you think I can't do, I just want to show it to you and let you know that my ability is far beyond your imagination. Therefore, Atsutsuki Ishiki said this now. In fact, he is deliberately stimulating Yagami Ryosuke. It is the provocation. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 273. I won't bother you with this. Yagami Ryosuke glanced at the Atsutsuki Ishiki in front of him. How could he not know what this guy was thinking? But it doesn't matter. Atsutsuki Ishiki thought he had seen through Yagami Ryosuke's strength. But that was actually just the night. Kami Ryosuke deliberately showed it to him. He thought that Yagami Ryosuke would only die if he went to the Atsutsuki planet. But little did he know that the real unlucky ones would be the Atsutsuki clan. By the way, I also want a piece of your hair. Yakami Ryosuke said, and directly took a piece of Atsutsuki Ishiki's hair. Atsutsuki Ishiki frowned. If he hadn't been in a bad state now, he wouldn't have been able to beat Yagami Ryosuke. He was just such an unreasonable person. This behavior is enough for Atsutsuki to crush the hateful mortal in front of him. But now, just bear with it for a while. This mortal is dead anyway. Why should he be angry with a dead man? Got what I wanted. Ryosuke Yagami also left this isolated overseas island. As for Atsutsuki Ishiki, Ryosuke Yagami didn't touch him. After all, you can't kill all the later bosses, right? There must always be one left to give Heitake Sakumo, the fourth generation Hokage, something to do. I just don't know if the Atsutsuki Ishiki in this world will be able to tolerate it for another few decades. Or should I say, in this parallel ninja world that has undergone major changes, will he let the shell organization be born in advance? Let Heitake Sakumo worry about these things. 10 Ryosuke Yagami said in his heart. After getting the space coordinates of the Atsutsuki planet, Ryosuke Yagami used Hirazaka directly to open a red teleportation gate. On the other side of the teleportation gate is the Atsutsuki clan. The base camp. Taking one step forward, Yagami Ryosuke passed through the red portal and came to the Atsutsuki planet at the other end. As soon as he crossed the portal, Yagami Ryosuke discovered the difference between the two planets. As we all know, there is something called natural energy in the ninja world. And this kind of natural energy is actually found on many planets. Before, Yagami Ryosuke had used Huanquan Hirasaka to visit some different planets, and found similar natural energy there. The difference was just how much, but on this Atsutsuki planet, Yagami Ryosuke completely felt it. There is no trace of natural energy. What is filled in the air is a kind of chakra-like energy. The reason why it is said to be chakra-like instead of directly talking about chakra is because there is indeed a certain difference between the two. So, is the planet Itsutsuki full of this chakra-like energy? Ryosuke Yagamai thought to himself. Then he took a photo and sent it to the chat group. 6th generation Hokage Ryosuke Yagamai screenshot.jpg. We have arrived at the planet Itsutsuki. Let me show you the environment here. 4th Hokage Heitake Sakumo, did you find the coordinates of this planet so quickly? Rokyudauji Hokage Ryosuke Yagamai, is there any kind person who can help me? 1st Hokage Senju Hashirama, haha. Let me just say, there are still many good people in this world. 2nd generation Hokage Senju Tobirama, brother, if you don't understand, just shut up. Sandame Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, is this the home of the Itsutsuki clan? It looks similar to the ninja world. The 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato, what is that black spot in the distance? Black spot. Yagamai Ryosuke looked around, and finally found the black spot Minato mentioned. It seems to be a cluster of buildings. Ryosuke Yagamai muttered. The next second, he instantly rose into the sky and flew towards that direction. A few minutes later, Ryosuke Yagamai had already crossed a distance of thousands of kilometers. He arrived near the building complex. Location. The black spot is indeed a huge building complex, and this building complex has no support from the ground, just suspended in the sky. There is even a river, and the water of the river spills directly to the ground. From a distance, it looks like it was like a waterfall. It was very spectacular. Just as Yagamai Ryosuke was observing this building complex, several figures flew out from it and flew towards him. Intruder. Humanity. Several members of the Itsutsuki clan who flew over looked at Yagamai Ryosuke curiously. They were not nervous or afraid at all because of this extraterrestrial visitor. Instead, they looked like they saw an interesting little toy. That's right. Watching the exposure, for cool novels, go to Fila Novel Network. The Itsutsuki clan is the overlord of this universe. No other civilization in the entire universe can compete with it. Therefore, for a long time, the members of the Itsutsuki clan have developed unique personalities. Arrogance, looking down on other life except the same race. It's interesting, how did you, a human being, get here? At this time, an Itsutsuki with a golden samsara eye on his forehead asked. He had an arrogant attitude, as did the several Itsutsuki next to him. Ryosuke Yagamai did not speak, but took another photo and uploaded it to the chat group. 6th generation Hokage Ryosuke Yagamai screenshot.jpg. I met people from the Itsutsuki clan, 5-6 level Itsutsuki. Let me show you what they look like. The first Hokage Madara Uchiha, are these people from the Itsutsuki clan? All 5 of them are at the 6th path level? Are they born with the power of the 6th path level? 2nd generation Hokage Senju Tobirama, it is unlikely that you are born at the 6th path level. There is a high probability that you need to practice to improve your strength, but it will be much more convenient than us humans. 4th Hokage Heitake Sakumo, 5 people, all have the samsara eye. 1st Hokage Senju Hashirama, 6th generation, can you snatch their samsara eyes and sell them in a group store? Nidame Hokage Senju Tobirama, brother, this is not something you would say, is it? 1st Hokage Senju Hashirama, haha. These are not aliens. They are not humans in our ninja world. Sandame Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, a pair of Rinian eyes is worth 500,000 points. There are 3 pairs and 1 here. Isn't that 1.75 million points? 6th generation Hokage Yagamai Ryosuke, the Itsutsuki clan was not born with the 6th level, but for them, reaching the 6th level is very simple, but if you want to go further, it will be difficult. Don't judging from the young appearance of each of them, they may be thousands of years old or even older. 1st Hokage Uchiha Madara, immortal. What an enviable ability. 6th generation Hokage Yagamai Ryosuke, don't be envious Madara, I will draw some Atsutsuki bloodline and put it on the shelves in a group of stores later. If you want it, you can buy it directly. You will also be able to live forever by then. Second generation Hokage Senju Tobirama. The price of Atsutsuki's bloodline shouldn't be cheaper than the Rinnegan, right? Sixth generation Hokage Ryusuke Yagami. It might be more expensive, after all, you are immortal. Yondaime Hokage Namikaze Minato Rai smile / that's unaffordable. Rokudoki Hokage Yagami Ryusuke. If you can't afford it, work hard to earn points. The ninja world is the same. There are treasures everywhere that can be sold for several copies. How can you get more points if you don't look for them yourself? Don't wait all the time. In the village, do you still want to wait for points to fall from the sky? First Hokage Uchiha Madara. That makes sense. First Hokage Senju Hashirama. I wonder if tailed beasts can be sold. Second generation Hokage Senju Tobirama. Brother, what do you want to do? Kuwabai can't be sold. First Hokage Senju Hashirama. I didn't say I wanted to sell the 9 tails, I can sell the other 8-tailed beasts. Anyway, I gave them away. What's wrong with coming back now? The second Hokage 200 Senju Tobirama. I chatted with several other Hokages in the chat group for only about 10 seconds. As for the outside world, the human being in front of him has not answered his own questions. Atsutsuki, who has a golden samsara eye on his forehead, also has a gloomy expression. Humanity. Answer my question. He said with a cold voice. There was already murderous intent flashing in his eyes. However, Ryusuke Yagami just smiled, and then grasped with his right hand. All things T9. In an instant, this Atsutsuki was directly attracted by him. I grabbed his neck with my hands. Do you know that you are very noisy? Ryusuke Yagami said to him. He pulled out a piece of his hair and threw it into the system's biopheromone warehouse. The people of the Atsutsuki clan in front of them obviously did not expect that this human being would be so bold and unruly. For a moment they were all stunned for a moment. As if they couldn't believe he would do this. Then the next second. Humanity. You wanna die? Atsutsuki, who was being choked by Ryusuke Yagami, roared angrily. Click. Ryusuke Yagami crushed his neck. He grabbed his head with one hand and jerked it lightly. Puff. A burst of blood spurted out. He grabbed Atsutsuki's head with one hand and pulled out his head and spine. What did you say? Ryusuke Yagami asked, looking at the dead head in his hand. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 274. Chat group, how much points do I get from selling this corpse in my hand? Ryusuke Yagami was holding the corpse of Atsutsuki in his hands while trying to put the corpse on the group mall. As a result, the group mall gave a price of 1,000,000 points. Among them, a pair of high-level white eyes on the corpse were worth 200,000 points. A high-level golden reincarnation eye is worth 400,000 points. And the others are worth a total of 400,000 points. A total of 1,000,000 points. In fact, if Ryusuke Yagami takes the initiative to extract the Atsutsuki bloodline, alone the Atsutsuki bloodline is worth 800,000 points. However, extracting the power of the bloodline is very troublesome. In addition, there are many members of the Atsutsuki clan on the Atsutsuki planet. Therefore, Yagami Ryusuke is too lazy to extract it himself, and directly if you leave it to a group of shopping malls, even if you make less money, you will make less money. Anyway, he is not short of these 3 melons. On the shelves. Ryusuke Yagami directly put the body of Atsutsuki on the shelf. When it was put on the shelf, it was automatically split into 3 parts. One part is a single golden reincarnation eye. The price is 600,000. The other part is a pair of high-level Byakugan. The price is 300,000. The last part is the remaining corpse. There are two prices, one is 600,000, buy the corpse directly. The other is 1.2 million, let the chat group help extract its Satsuki bloodline for fusion, it is a one-stop service, directly it's done in one step. But the price is also relatively expensive. It's more than 1,000,000 points. However, in fact, even the cheapest high-end Byakugan. Now everyone in the chat group can't afford it. They can only slowly accumulate points and wait for later. Come and buy again. Ryosuke Yagami feels that in the future, this Hokage chat group will definitely add other ways to obtain points. Otherwise, if there is only one product on the shelves of the group mall, I'm afraid it won't work. The first Hokage Uchiha Madara, come on, come on. The 6th generation has good stuff on the shelves again, good guys, just a complete set. The 4th Hokage Hatake Sakumo, the cheapest high-level Byakugan, costs 300,000 points, which is unaffordable. However, by the way, is there a difference between high-level and low-level Byakugan? The 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen 300,000 points for the advanced Byakugan? That means the original price is 200,000. Then I wonder how many points the Byakugan of the Hyuga clan is worth. Nidame Hokage Senju Tobirama Monkey, what do you want to do? The 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato, although I am very greedy, I can't afford it. By the way, is there no other way to earn points in the chat group? The only way is to put products on the group mall. The 1st Hokage Senju Hashirama, what a pity. I can't sell my Senju body and would release. I didn't expect that my Senju body is also worth 300,000 points. What a pity. 4th Hokage Hatake Sakumo, isn't it that the 3rd generation wants to have another night of genocide? This time it's Hineda's turn. Sandame Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, no, I didn't think that, and I didn't do it either. Hatake Sakumo, don't slander me. The 6th Hokage Ryosuke Yagami, haha. The Hyuga clan is going to be in trouble, but Uchiha's Sharingan may be more valuable. Don't you want the 3rd generation to try it? A certain parallel ninja world. In the Hokage's office, Hiruzen Sarutobi's eyes flickered as he looked at the messages in the chat group. Seriously, if it weren't for the wrong time. Sarutobi Hiruzen really wanted to destroy Uchiha and Hineda, and then put all their eyes on the shelves of the group mall. How many points do I need to earn this way? Pity, what a pity. Senju Tobirama in the group wants to teach me a lesson again, huh? I am not your disciple. Sarutobi Hiruzen sneered a few times. Planet at Satsuki. Ryosuke Yagami looked at the content in the chat group and smiled. Sarutobi Hiruzen seems to be eyeing Hineda and Uchiha, but he is still in the 2nd Ninja War, so he probably doesn't dare to take action. Yagami, Ryosuke said heartily. In his hand, a struggling Atsutsuki was bombarding Yagami Ryosuke's body with the Tau Jade. What a pity. Yagami Ryosuke, wearing the god Samsara robe, is just normal at this time. It can also ignore any attacks below the god level. Therefore, no matter how hard this guy tries, he can't cause the slightest harm to him. It's useless, why can't you understand it? Be obedient and become my points. Ryosuke Yagami pulled out a piece of this guy's hair and put it into the system's biopheromone warehouse. Then he killed him using the same method. The body was sold to the group mall. Another profit. Damn it! How dare you, mere human being! Expand the Taoist Jade! And Atsutsuki roared, raising his hands high. A huge black seeking jade with a diameter of about 3 or 4 kilometers appeared, and he blasted it towards Yagami Ryosuke. Oh! Do you know how to do this? Yagami. Ryosuke looked at it with a smile, then raised his arm and shouted. Super! Shinra Tianzhang! Rumble! The sky collapsed. Nearly 1/6 of the entire planet at Satsuki's surface was cleared in the blink of an eye. This moment instantly alerted all members of the Otsutsuki clan on the planet Otsutsuki. In the sky, densely packed figures appeared one after another, like wasps, flying towards Ryusuke Yagamai and the others. What is it? Intruder. A human invader. How dare he? Oh my god. This human being is actually killing our people. Unforgivable. Die. Countless attacks poured towards Ryusuke Yagamai. And Ryusuke Yagamai also laughed while unlocking 98% of the power of the contract. Instantly, the chakra in the body evolves into the chakra of God. This also allowed Yagamai Ryusuke's strength to soar from invincible at the 6 paths level to the peak of the God level in an instant. Come and fight. He faced thousands of 6-level experts from the Otsutsuki clan alone. He rushed forward without any fear. At this moment, it was like a wolf rushing into a flock of sheep. In an instant, the Otsutsuki clan suffered heavy casualties. Ryusuke Yagamai killed an Otsutsuki sect member with one move. He sneered and threw his body directly to the group mall for sale. Of course. Before that, he had collected the Otsutsuki's biological pheromones and put them into the system. In the biopheromone warehouse, Yagamai Ryusuke moved too fast. More than a dozen Otsutsuki fell almost every second. What made these members of the Otsutsuki clan even more dazzling was that the corpses of these fallen members of the same clan were actually "I don't know where this human took me. He just disappeared." When had the Otsutsuki clan been so humiliated? They were beaten to their lair. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Filu Novel Network. Still being slaughtered mercilessly? In the past, wasn't this what happened when the Otsutsuki clan treated other civilizations? What? Now it's the other way around? Golden Wheel reincarnation explodes. Earth explodes and stars explode. My name is Vigana, the High Emperor's spiritual master. Every Otsutsuki who fights is of 6-path level strength. Among them, there are even Otsutsuki with 6-level invincible combat power. Pity. These Otsutsuki were like lambs to be slaughtered when faced with Yagamai Ryusuke, who was at the peak of his god-level strength. No match for him, just a few minutes. More than 1,000 Otsutsuki were slaughtered. At this time, Ryusuke Yagamai had already earned more than 1 billion points just by listing the corpses of the Otsutsuki clan in the entire Hokage chat group. His number of points is definitely off the cliff. The other Hokage's points are all loaded together, which is far from even a fraction of his. The other 6 Hokages in the group looked at the pairs of Rinnegan eyes, Byakugan, and even at Otsutsuki's corpse that kept appearing in the group mall. All the facial features are distorted with envy. How many points does this cost? Someone did some calculations for Ryusuke Yagamai and found that he had earned at least more than 900 million points, close to 1 billion. Moreover, more reincarnation eyes, white eyes, and even the corpses of the Otsutsuki clan still being added to shelves. Heitake Sakumo smacked his lips, feeling in his heart that it was good to have strength. Any one of the Otsutsuki clan with such 6-level combat power would be a disaster for the entire ninja world. But the result was in Ryusuke Yagamai's hands. These large pieces of wood are like lambs waiting to be slaughtered, being slaughtered at will, and then put on the shelves and sold to shopping malls to earn a lot of points. However, Heitake Sakumo did not forget that these slaughtered Otsutsuki were all Otsutsuki in his world. Heitake Sakumo felt both distressed and a little relieved. It hurts because these are the resources of his world. If they are not harvested by Ryusuke Yagamai today, one day in the future, he may be able to harvest these resources himself. But considering the strength of these Otsutsukis, Heitake Sakumo feels that even if such a day comes, at least he will have to wait for a long time. Anyway, it is impossible for him to have such strength in the short term. And he was relieved because these powerful Otsutsuki who also liked to plant trees in other worlds were killed by Yagamai Ryusuke, which greatly eased the pressure on their side of the ninja world. After all, the ninja world had also been the goal of planting trees for the Otsutsuki clan, but as a result, the tree planting failed due to internal problems. If this is not guaranteed, members of the Otsutsuki clan will come to settle matters in the future. And now, the Otsutsuki clan was massacred on such a large scale by Ryusuke Yagami. Even if they don't die today, for a long time in the future, they will probably no longer care about the situation in the ninja world, but will be frantically searching for the human being Yagami Ryusuke throughout the universe. They won't find the ninja world, right? Heitake Sakumo suddenly thought to himself. Thinking of this, Heitake Sakumo, who had previously thought that it would be best for Yagami Ryusuke to leave a few for himself, suddenly hoped that Yagami Ryusuke could kill all the Otsutsukis. This will solve the problem once and for all, and save him from worry. First Hokage Senju Hashirama, there are so many samsara eyes. It's a pity that I can't afford them. The first Hokage Uchiha Madara Hashirama, how many points do you have? Why don't you give me your points first and let me buy a copy of Otsutsuki Bloodline? Second Hokage Senju Tobirama, in our group, except for the 6th generation, everyone else's points combined should not be enough to buy a piece of Otsutsuki blood. Uchiha Madara, what are you thinking? 4th generation Hokage Namikaze Minato, I'm starting to look forward to when new people will come. Last time the group had more than 5 members, so many new features were unlocked. If the group can have more than 10 members, will more features be unlocked? Group function. 2nd generation Hokage Senju Tobirama Minato is right, it is indeed possible, and maybe other ways to earn points will be unlocked. First Hokage Senju Hashirama. Is that so? Then hurry up and bring in new people. It's best to come in 3 at once like last time, that way you'll just make 10. Sandaime Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, if there are new people coming, I wonder if there will be Sandaime from other worlds. 2nd generation Hokage Senju Tobirama, if there are other 3rd generations, it's best not to be Danzo, money is good. These disciples of mine are too useless. It's best to change them. The 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato Kagami Senpai and Torifo Senpai can't do it either. The 4th Hokage Heitake Sakumo Minato, why are you more innocent than me? The 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato, what do you mean? Sakumo Senpai. The 6th generation Hokage Yagami Ryusuke, it's very simple. The Uchiha mirror belongs to the Uchiha clan, and the 2nd generation is the largest Uchiha black in the ninja world. Akimichi Tophase is the butterfly clan in the Inarika butterfly. If he is allowed when he became Hokage, and Zudir Dai joined forces, wouldn't it be easy to control the wood industry? 2nd generation Hokage Senju Tobirama, I am doing this for the village. As for the 3rd generation Hokage, it would be better for someone with a weaker family behind him to be in charge. The 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato. Is there such a thing? 6th generation Hokage Yagami Ryusuke, to be honest, I think Sarutobi Hiruzen was completely influenced by the 2nd generation. Many of his ideas are actually very similar to the 2nd generation, but in comparison, the 3rd generation is better than the 2nd generation. It's just more extreme than ever. Sandaime Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, that's right. I am following the teacher's instructions and learning from him. First Hokage Senju Hashirama, you learned from my brother, so you wiped out the Senju clan. Nidaime Hokage Senju Tobirama, asshole. Monkey, don't even think about making excuses. The 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 275. All things are attracted by heaven. One after another figures flew towards Ryusuke Yagami in the sky, unable to control. Shinra Tianzhang. Boom. The space seemed to be torn apart. And the members of the Otsutsuki clan flying over uncontrollably around them were all showing signs of pain and suffering. At this time, Yagami Ryusuke also took action. Took the lives of these people. More than 3,000. Yagami Ryusuke murmured. he has killed more than 3,000 members of the Itsutsuki clan. The deaths of these people have also allowed him to earn more than 3 billion points, which are also stored in the system's biopheromone warehouse. There are more than 3,000 biopheromones in it. And each one is a biopheromone that can be converted into 3 golden entries. This is nearly 10,000 golden talent entries. In the next nearly 10 years, Yagami Ryusuke doesn't worry about not having good entries to convert. As for the others, even if it's the biopheromone from the Super Shadow level expert, Yagami Ryusuke wants to directly decompose it into experience points. Of course. For now, priority is given to decomposing biopheromones that can only convert green and blue talent entries. And the amount of these biopheromones is larger. In the past, Ryusuke Nightgamai had an entire ninja world as a source of supply. And now, it became the 7 ninja worlds and was provided as a source of goods. It skyrocketed 7 times, or even more. With such a huge supply of goods, naturally, Ryusuke Yagami would not rush to decompose those high-level biological pheromones first. Let's start with a low-level decomposition. But, green, just move back. Break down the blue one first. After all, a green one is only worth 10 experience points. As for the blue one is worth 100 points. A difference of 10 times, provided that the amount of blue biopheromone is sufficient. Naturally, blue is decomposed first. Even the purple ones, Yagami Ryusuke is also considering whether to break them down directly. After all, Ryusuke Yagami now has 2 major supplies of golden talent entries. In fact, there is no need for purple talent entries anymore. Think about it again. Ryusuke Yagami crushed an Itsutsuki to death with one hand and thought to himself. At this moment, human beings, you dare. A loud shout full of anger suddenly resounded through the sky. Then, a beam of golden light struck. Yagami Ryusuke narrowed his eyes and raised his hand to block. Boom! The space was torn apart. Under him thousands of meters of the planet's surface directly shattered. Countless magma erupted from deep underground. The entire land covering millions of square kilometers was shattered in an instant under the aftermath of the collision. Yagami Ryusuke's body flew out of the atmosphere. But he was not injured. Die! The owner of that golden light blasted towards Yagami Ryusuke once again. It was a man whose whole body was enveloped in golden energy. The man's eyes were a pair of golden god Samsara eyes. The energy burst out from it was gathered by the man in every corner. Each punch and kick turned into an extremely simple attack, but the power was enough to tear apart any being below the peak of the god level. This being of the Itsutsuki clan is a strong man with peak god level combat power. The peak of god level, haha. Not bad. Ryusuke Yagami smiled contemptuously, then moved forward with his fists, and fought with him. The two of them struck from the atmosphere of the planet into the vacuum of the universe. The power of each punch and kick was enough to tear apart a living planet, and was blasted. The flying figure was as fast as the speed of light. In the explosion, one of the satellites of the Itsutsuki planet was directly blown up. Then the second and third satellites. However, this satellite is not valuable to the Itsutsuki planet. Any Itsutsuki with peak strength at the 6 paths level can create a new satellite. There are hundreds of satellites like this around the planet Itsutsuki. There were still many slaves working for the Itsutsuki clan living on some of them, and as the two of them fought, these satellites were blown up one by one in the aftermath of the attack. Those Itsutsuki slaves who live on these moons. They also died one after another with the explosion. However, this god-level master of the Itsutsuki clan didn't care at all about the death of these slaves. The Itsutsuki clan is the overlord of the universe and the ruler of, Baj, this world. They had as many slaves as they wanted. And these slaves have never been treated as real lives by them. As for Ryusuke Yagami, he was a little apprehensive at first. But when he discovered that all of the so-called slaves looked weird, Yagami Ryuzyuk didn't care anymore. As a human being, in his eyes, only those who look like humans will be of concern to him. And these things that looked nothing like humans, more like monsters and strange species, made him feel a little disgusted when he looked at them. He even wondered why the Otsutsuki clan allowed these living races to be their slaves. Don't you feel sick every time you look at it? Yes. The fact that these slaves are placed on these satellites far away from the planet Otsutsuki speaks volumes in itself. Obviously, the Otsutsuki clan itself also resents these slaves. That's why these slaves are placed on these satellites and let them work here. However, this made Ryusuke Yagami a little curious. Is it possible that a race like human beings is very rare in the universe? The Otsutsuki clan obviously knew about the existence of the human race. Otherwise, when they saw Yagami Ryuzyuk, they wouldn't be able to eat a human at once. But the slaves they captured were not human. Does that mean that the number of humans in the universe is very small? Most of them are these kinds of life forms that look strange to humans? Maybe this is the truth. Ryusuke Yagami thought to himself. First Hokage Senju Hashiramaha? It seems that the sixth generation has not put new products on the shelves for a while. Has it been finished? The second Hokage Senju Tobirama, that's almost it? I did the math. The total of these things that the sixth generation put on the shelves before adds up to more than 3,600 at Otsutsuki clan. A race with such a strong strength, there won't be many. The first Hokage Uchiha Madara, every one of them is a sixth path level existence. Hasalama, how many more do you want? Just these more than 3,000 have already made the sixth generation more than 300 million. Fourth generation Hokage Namikaze Minato 3 billion points. I don't know if I can earn so much in this life. Sandaime Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, why hasn't the sixth generation said anything? Could it be that he encountered some powerful enemy? The second Hokage Senju Tobirama Monkey, why are you gloating? Sandaime Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, teacher, I am not gloating. I am worried about the sixth generation's safety. First Hokage Uchiha Madara, haha. Trash Tobirama, your disciple doesn't seem to have much respect for you. Look, he doesn't even take your words seriously. Second generation Hokage Senju Tobirama, asshole. Madara Uchiha, does it have anything to do with how I teach my disciples? Do you want to take care of it? The first Hokage Uchiha Madara photo.jpg. I just had a sparring session with Trash Tobirama, and I want to show you how handsome Tobirama is, haha. In the photo uploaded by Uchiha Madara, Senju Tobirama looked embarrassed, kneeling on one knee on the ground with blood stains on the corners of his mouth. Evil Uchiha. In a certain parallel ninja world, the second generation Hokage Senju Tobirama snorted coldly when he saw this photo in the group, and his mood instantly became much worse. However, if you think about it carefully, the one who was beaten was only Senju in the parallel world. It's just Tobirama Senju. That person may look exactly like him, and may have the same name and life experience as him. But that's not the real him after all. Therefore, Senju Tobirama just got a little angry and calmed down. He can't change his other self in the parallel world. But he can improve himself in this world. For example, recently he has collected a large number of ninjutsu from other villages and put them on the group mall in exchange for points. Although these ninjutsu the value is not high. But as long as the number accumulates, you can earn a lot of points. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Filu Novel Network. Now, the points accumulated by Kinjutojian have exceeded 10,000. Most of them are points earned from some forbidden techniques he developed. If the Hokages in other worlds had not sold some forbidden techniques he developed, the points Senju Tobirama could earn now would definitely be far more than 5. More than 10,000. It may even have exceeded 100,000. This makes Senju Tobirama a little depressed. After all, he developed those forbidden techniques, but he, the founder, can't monopolize all the points? Where is this reason? However, as for bloodline, I don't know how much blood succession limit can be sold. Integral. Senju Tobirama's eyes shone with a strange light. Unlike his kind-hearted elder brother Senju Hashirama, Senju Tobirama's character is absolutely ruthless. Therefore, he doesn't care about taking advantage of other villages' blood successor ninjas. Come and sell money. Even if it sounds inhumane. But so what? Only the benefits you get are real benefits. If you blindly talk about kindness, you will only suffer in the end. Senju Tobirama have he experienced more than 1,000 battles in his life. He has long understood this truth. If you want to survive in the ninja world, you must give up the so-called kindness. Of course, if you have the strength like his elder brother, then just pretend that he never said this. But if he was stronger than his elder brother, wouldn't he die young? Therefore, what Senju Tobirama said is absolutely correct. People are bullied by others, and horses are ridden by people who are kind. If you want to become bigger and stronger, how can you be so soft-hearted? The good news is that bloodline items can be sold in unlimited quantities, it seems. In this case, as long as we can cultivate some blood step families, we can harvest wool again and again. Moreover, putting the corpse directly on the shelves is the least cost-effective method. It is better to extract the blood veins yourself and then put them on the group mall, so as to obtain the maximum benefit. Senju Tobirama already has a plan in mind. The Sarutobi Hiruzen in the group was eyeing the Uchiha and Hinata families. But in fact, Senju Tobirama is the same. But with Sarutobi the difference with this idiot Hiruzen is that Senju Tobirama understands what recyclability is. He has no intention of massacring Uchiha and Hinata at once and resting on his laurels. Instead, he plans to use scientific cultivation methods to see if he can. It is impossible to clone the same genes and create clones with the same bloodline of Hinata and Uchiha. If he could, he would soon be able to afford those expensive products in the shopping mall. The thought of buying the Itsutsuki bloodline by himself and the reincarnation eye, and then raised his strength to the 6 paths level, Tobirama couldn't help but feel hot in his heart. Maybe a powerful Hokage like Ryusuke Yagamai doesn't see this benefit. But for now, it's still a poor man has his eyes on this considerable profit chain. Now let's see if it can be realized. Planet Itsutsuki, outer space, in the void more than 3 million kilometers away. A golden figure, he was torn apart by Yagamai Ryusuke. He grabbed half of his body with one hand and forcefully tore Itsutsuki, the god-level peak strength, into 2 halves. Do you really think you can fight evenly with me? Ryusuke Yagamai sneered. Itsutsuki, who was torn in half, was still alive, but he was no longer able to resist. When Ryusuke Yagamai started to get serious and showed his god-level invincible strength, he knew that he would lose. It seems that you are the strongest Itsutsuki in this world. I thought that there is a god-level and invincible ancestor in your world. It seems that he looks up to you. Ryusuke Yagamai said. He had been observing the situation on the planet Itsutsuki when he had just fought with Itsutsuki. According to his perception, there are 2 god-level forces hidden inside the planet Itsutsuki. But the level of these 2 forces is not as strong as the Itsutsuki in his hand. Obviously, the Itsutsuki clan in this parallel world is not as strong as the Itsutsuki in his world. Not even a god-level invincible strong man, none. It really disappointed him. He had thought that there would be some hidden ancestor or something. He also deliberately lowered his strength and fought with this guy for a while. But it turned out that Yagamai Ryusuke was overthinking. The guy in my hand is already the ancestor of the Itsutsuki clan in this world. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 276. Phew. Ryusuke Yagamai dug out the Itsutsuki's samsara eyes with his hands. At the same time, he collected a little blood and put it into the system's biopheromone warehouse, preparing to convert the talent entries later. A god-level powerhouse can at least transform a god-level entry. I don't know what kind of god-level entries can be transformed this time. Ryosuke Yagami was quite looking forward to it. Moreover, this guy is also the most powerful god-level expert in this parallel world. Maybe there will be special treatment similar to Kaguya Itsutsuki's, and maybe 3 god-level entries can be transformed by then maybe. If that's the case, it would be great. A few minutes later, Ryosuke Yagami successfully collected 3 pairs of god reincarnation eyes from 3 god-level powerful men of the Itsutsuki clan, as well as the biological information elements of the 3 of them. Except for the fact that Itsutsuki was at the peak of god-level strength at the beginning. The other 2 are just ordinary god-level experts. Its strength is not much stronger than that of god-level floor tiles. But at least these 3 pairs of divine samsara eyes are genuine. When Ryosuke Yagami's divine samsara eyes awaken, they will absorb their pupil power. In a short period of time, Ryosuke Yagami's normal strength can reach a level beyond the peak of god level. Maybe by then you will be able to have god level invincible combat power under normal conditions. In that case, once the state is fully activated, you can hit the super god level by designation. You actually thought I was in danger, haha. After Yagami Ryosuke finished dealing with the 3 god-level warriors of the Itsutsuki clan, he immediately used Shuenin Vigana's magic to shrink the Itsutsuki planet under his feet to the size of a picometer. Then it was thrown into the time and space of Mahakala. Just as he was preparing to clean up the remaining members of the Itsutsuki clan, he discovered that in the Hokage chat group in his mind, the other 6 Hokages were all in it himself. And asked him if something happened. Ryosuke Yagami smiled. This is actually understandable. After all, Ryosuke Yagami's strength shown in the chat group is only 6-level invincibility. And there are so many 6-path powerhouses on the planet Itsutsuki. From the perspective of other Hokages in the group, there must be 6-level invincible strong men on the planet Itsutsuki, and there may even be more than one. Therefore, seeing Ryosuke Yagami suddenly stop moving. Only then did they become a little worried. Certainly. It's hard to say whether they truly care about Ryosuke Yagami's safety. People like Madara Uchiha and Tobirama Senju will not be sincere to other people in the group just because they have only been together for 10 days. Don't talk about Ryosuke Yagami. Even the other Senju Hashirama in the group may not be completely trusted by Senju Tobirama and Uchiha Madara. Although they are both Senju Hashirama, they are not from the same world after all. And characters like Senju Tobirama and Uchiha Madara, it is destined that they will not trust someone easily. Not to mention Ryosuke Yagami. He has special permissions and can travel between different parallel worlds at will. Maybe there are many people in the group who wish he died on the planet Itsutsuki. It's just that they don't show it. Ryosuke Yagami never minds using the utmost malice to speculate on others. Because that's how the world is. No one will be nice to you for no reason. Not to mention, they are still a bunch of old foxes. The 6th Hokage Ryosuke Yagami, come, don't be too fond of me, I'm still alive and well. The 1st Hokage Senju Hashirama, haha. I told you that the 6th generation will be fine, but you still don't believe it. The 1st Hokage Uchiha Madara, haha. I wonder who just hit it 5 or 6 times in a row. The 4th Hokage Hatake Sakumo Ryosuke, are you in any trouble? Sandame Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, it's good that the 6th generation is fine. 6th generation Hokage Yagami Ryosuke, it's nothing, I just encountered a few more difficult opponents, and they have been solved now. Nidame Hokage Senju Tobirama, a difficult opponent? Could it be that he is also an invincible being at the 6th path level? The 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato, when I think that the same Itsutsuki planet exists in my world, and there are a group of thousands of 6th path powerhouses living on it, I can't help but feel a little panicked. The sixth Hokage Ryosuke Yagamai. There is no need to panic, Minato senpai, your timeline is still very early. Now in the ninja world, there is only one sealed Itsutsuki Kagaya and one Itsutsuki Ishiki who has lost his body. That's all. First Hokage Uchiha Madara Itsutsuki Isuki? Is there an Itsutsuki alive in the ninja world? 6th generation Hokage Ryosuke Yagamai. Yes, haven't I told you before? 2nd generation Hokage Senju Tobirama. Well, not at all. The 6th Hokage Ryosuke Yagamai. Haha. I forgot about that. I will talk to you about this Itsutsuki Ishiki after I finish cleaning the battlefield. First Hokage Senju Hashirama. Fuck. I saw an item selling 15 million Itsutsuki bloodline in the shopping mall. What is going on? First Hokage Uchiha Madara. How much? 15 million. The 6th Hokage Ryosuke Yagamai. That's the tough guy I said. By the way, there are two more here. In the void? Ryosuke Yagamai used the pressure of space to suppress the panicked group in front of him. Itsutsuki was trapped, and then he threw the other two corpses of Itsutsuki with his eyes gouged out to the shopping mall. Got another 7.5 million points. One corpse of Itsutsuki with god-level strength can be sold for 3.75 million points. Ryosuke Yagamai has 3 pieces on the shelves, which is 11.25 million points. However, compared to the 3 billion he earned before, it is actually nothing. Mainly because the quantity is too small. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Filu Novel Network. If it is sold in Kun Mall, you can buy the corpse directly for only 5.625 million points. But if you want to directly transform the chat group into blood and integrate it into your own body, you will need 15 million points. Very expensive. However, this is the Itsutsuki bloodline with god-level potential. It is more than 10 times more expensive than other Itsutsuki bloodlines, which is normal. After all, god level and non-god level strength. What a huge difference. There is absolutely no comparison. Ding. You put a pair of reincarnation eyes on the shelves, and you got 500,000 points. 0. Please give me flowers. 0. Ding. You put a pair of Tensagen on the shelves, and you got 600,000 points. Ding. You listed an Itsutsuki corpse. Yagamai Ryosuke continued to operate, killing the remaining Itsutsuki, and then packaged them and sold them to Kun Mall. The entire Itsutsuki clan, at least the number of Itsutsuki on the planet Itsutsuki, has exceeded 10,000. There are 11,355 people. If calculated based on the average value of an Itsutsuki, it is worth 1 million points. Ryosuke Yagamai can also earn more than 11.3 billion points this time. In fact, Ryosuke Yagamai earned more than 15.5 billion points during this trip. After all, some Itsutsuki possess extraordinary levels of Samsara eyes. A 6 Magatama Samsara eye similar to Suzuki's. Or the more advanced 9 Megatama Samsara eye. All valuable. Therefore, in the final calculation, Ryosuke Yagamai earned more points than initially estimated. More than 15.5 billion, such a huge number, was something Ryosuke Yagamai had never thought of before. Now, in the next few decades, I'm afraid no one will be able to surpass his number, right? Unless the chat group suddenly invites a few Hokages who also have god-level strength and can kill the Itsutsuki clan to come in. But is there really such a powerful Hokage in the parallel world? Unless they are cheating like Ryosuke Yagamai. Otherwise, the probability is too low, almost zero. Unfortunately, apart from allowing me to travel around the world, the points currently have no other use. Ryosuke Yagamai shook his head, and was thinking about what other Hokages in the group had talked about before, that is, when will the chat group invite new Hokages from parallel worlds to join? When the number of people exceeds 10, will it happen? Turn on new functions. However, others are looking forward to the new function of earning points. but Ryosuke Yagami is looking forward to the new function of spending points. After all, the group mall is really useless to him. All the high-end products in the mall are put on the shelves by him. He can't buy the things he puts on the shelves himself, right? That's not just a big fool. System, convert entries. Ryosuke Yagami took out a piece of blood from the system's biopheromone warehouse at this time. It was the blood of the previous ancestor at Satsuki. At the peak of the god level, I wonder if he can transform into 3 kinds of blood like Kaguya at Satsuki. A god level entry? Don't let me down. After all, you are the most powerful person in this world. Ryosuke Yagami thought to himself. Ding. Conversion successful. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the talent entry, at Satsuki Ancestor, God, the strongest in this world, God, power of God, God. Hearing the prompts from the system in his mind, Ryosuke Yagami couldn't help but his eyes lit up. Good. He is indeed the strongest in this world. 3 god-level entries. It lived up to Ryosuke Yagami's expectations. Well done, Patriarch at Satsuki. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 277. Opening the character panel, Yagami Ryosuke found the 3 new entries. The entry Power of God has been repeated. Ryosuke Yagami just glanced at it and stopped paying attention. After all, duplicate entries cannot be equipped. And what is repeated this time is a god-level entry. With another repeated god-level entry, Ryosuke Yagami can try to combine these 2 god-level entries to see if he can synthesize a super god-level entry. Once a super god-level entry is successfully synthesized, the next update of the system may be activated. At that time, Ryosuke Yagami's entries will hang up faster. It has been more than a month since I upgraded from gold to god level. If this is updated to version 4.0, then we can shorten the time to 4 or 5 days and upgrade. Even if you upgrade from god level to super god level, you no longer have to wait so long. At that time, you can try to use the 2 newly added AFK slots to AFK the 2 most useful god level entries. For example, the god level entry Power of God. Ryosuke Yagami really wants to see what it will look like after it is upgraded to the super god level. Ancestor at Satsuki, God, you are the ancestor of the Atsutsuki clan. Your strength of 170 is the highest among the Atsutsuki clan. All the Atsutsuki clan follow your example and obey your orders. Power derived from Atsutsuki's bloodline add 5000%. Chakra quality add 5000%. Any enemy of Atsutsuki bloodline has -80 strength when facing you %. Clicking on the entry for Atsutsuki Patriarch, Yagami Ryosuke's eyes fell on its attributes. This entry is great. Ryosuke Yagami nodded after reading it, quite satisfied with it. The entry of chakra quality appeared for the 2nd time, and the last time it appeared was the last time. And the value is still the same 5000%. The 2 are similar. Plus, that's 100 times. The quality of the originally ordinary chakra directly surpassed the divine chakra. At this time, Ryosuke Yagami's normal strength soared from 6th level invincible to god level threshold. Although it is a god level threshold, it belongs to the level of floor tiles. But after taking this step, it is 2 different worlds. Moreover, this entry also enhances various powers derived from Atsutsuki's bloodline. What does it mean? Including the physique of the Atsutsuki clan. The Samsara Eye of the Atsutsuki clan. All of them have been improved. And it has soared by 50 times. And because it is an additional entry attribute, it is a multiplicative superposition. Let's put it this way. In Ryosuke Yagami's normal state, the strength of god level floor tiles, coupled with the attribute of this entry, directly makes his strength reach the peak of God level. Of course, the premise is that the reincarnation I technique is used. If it is other abilities or another matter. Even if it is the power of bond, it is not actually the power of Otsutsuki's bloodline, because the power of bond is a knowledge-based ability that is acquired. It is similar to ninjutsu. And the samsara eye is an ability derived from the blood of Otsutsuki. Therefore, it can get the bonus of this entry attribute. And this last attribute will make Ryosuke Yagami face any strong man of the Otsutsuki clan in the future. In front of him, he can only exert 20% of his strength. His combat power has plummeted by 80%. He was originally invincible at the god level. Now he is only at the peak of the god level. Even if Ryosuke Yagami doesn't use the power of contract. No. Use the strength bonus of the entry. Do not use the god form mode and so on. Under normal conditions, with the help of the attributes of this entry, you can defeat the Otsutsuki clan who originally had god-level invincible combat power. It can be said that this entry for Otsutsuki Patriarch has explosive attributes. There are so many god-level entries that are far superior to ordinary ones. The first entry is so good, it's a good start. Yakami Ryosuke thought happily. Then his eyes fell on the last entry. The strongest in this world? This sounds awesome. If the attribute of this entry is to stretch the crotch, even Ryosuke Yagami would not believe it. Click to take a look. Ryosuke Yagami clicked on the information of this entry with his mind. The strongest, God, in this world, you are the strongest existence in this world. Your strength makes countless civilizations fearful. Your existence shocks the entire world. As long as you live for one day, all living beings in this world will be shrouded in your shadow. Under. All-round strength adds 6,000%. Incidentally, I am the only one. Self-reliance, when faced with an opponent who is stronger than you, use this ability to forcefully suppress the opponent's strength to a level lower than yours. Note, the target's strength cannot exceed one level of one's own. Otherwise it is invalid. It can only take effect on the highest level of gods. This entry. Yagami Ryosuke smacked his lips. How to say? The first property is great. Great. Ryosuke Yagami liked it very much. The bonus of all-round strength has always been Ryosuke Yagami's favorite attribute. Even more so than the similar attribute of God's power. After all, the power of God only has a bonus effect on the strength of the God level. And the all-round strength bonus is this attribute. Common to all realms. But so be it. The ability that comes with this is a bit, how to say, tasteless. Although it can force the opponent's strength to lower to the first level than Ryosuke Yagami. To read Bao's Huang novels, go to Filu Novel Network. For example, if the opponent is a god-level invincible, he can use this I am the only one entry ability to directly reduce the opponent's strength to a 6-level invincible. Looks strong, right? But Yagami Ryosuke's own strength has long surpassed the level of god-level invincibility. His peak combat power is quasi-super god level. It is even infinitely close to the true super god level. And this entry ability can only be effective against enemies within the god level. This is very useless. Totally useless. If Ryosuke Yagami's peak combat power is only at the entry level of god level, then this ability is awesome. Directly make the enemy who could kill Ryosuke Yagami instantly become able to be killed by him. But now, it's of no use. But if this entry can be upgraded to the super god level, the upper limit of the ability of this entry should also be raised to the super god level, and then it probably won't be so useless. 0. Ryosuke Yagami thought to himself. But the words are that's true. But who knows what level Ryosuke Yagami's strength will reach by then? What if he has become super god level and invincible? Wouldn't that turn into a useless ability again? Forget it, let's leave it at that. Anyway, even if it only has the first attribute, this entry is still a first-level excellent entry. Just think of this ability as a bonus. Actually, this is an incidental ability. If it is useless, just ignore it. Thinking of this, Ryosuke Yagami no longer bothers with the issue of whether this ability is useless or not. It was transformed in the ancestor of its Satsuki. 3 entries. Except for one power of God which is repeated and cannot be equipped. The other 2 God-level entries are both top-notch God-level entries. If we say, give the God-level entries good or bad points a level, Ryosuke Yagami feels that these 2 entries are definitely at the top of the pyramid among the God-level entries. They are so awesome. After equipping these 2 entries, Ryosuke Yagami his strength has also undergone tremendous changes. Under normal conditions, peak of God level. Power of contract mode, God level invincible. Power of contract mode and power bonus, half step to super God level. Power of contract mode and strength bonus and direction strength bonus, quasi super God level or super God level entry. Moreover, at present, Ryosuke Yagami's contract power has not been unlocked to 100% mode. There are still some strengths that can be improved. What a pity. Ryosuke Yagami doesn't know what level the super God level is. Otherwise, he can truly judge whether he is a quasi-super God level or has just entered the super God level. Now, no good judgments are all made by Ryosuke Yagami himself. After all, the system does not have a strength score or the like. The 1.0 Naruto chat group does have this function. What a pity. The Naruto chat group cannot detect the bonus of the talent entry. There is no way to accurately judge the level of Yagami Ryosuke's true strength. However, in fact, it doesn't matter. After all, it is currently known that the ceiling of the Naruto world is the God level. Super people above the God level, that is the name given by Ryosuke Yagami himself. There is no super God level in the Naruto world at all. And the several parallel worlds he can go to now are also Naruto's parallel worlds. It is basically certain that Knight Kami Ryosuke's current strength is already invincible in countless parallel worlds of Naruto. So is he a super god? What's the difference? Right? Gone back. Wait until tomorrow when you transform an entry from Otsutsuki's god level expert, then try to see how low the probability of synthesizing a super god level entry is. Ryosuke Yagami muttered, while opening a red portal at his feet. His body sank instantly, submerged into the portal, and disappeared. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 278. During this period, Ryosuke Yagami accumulated an average of 9,000 experience points every day. More than a month later. At present, I have accumulated almost 500,000 experience points. That's a lot of money. Even though Ryosuke Yagami earned over 100 billion points in a few hours, Ryosuke Yagami couldn't use the points for the time being. But the system's experience value is what he really needs. And the more, the better. You can never have too much. 500,000 experience points are enough for him to use synthesis 10,000 times. And upgrading a god level entry to super god level requires 10 million experience points. It's 20 times that of 500,000. If you decompose a god level entry, you can get 100,000 experience points. In other words, if Ryosuke Yagami uses the synthesis function to synthesize super god level entries, he only needs to consume less than 9.9 million experience points. It's all a good deal. Of course, less is better. But 500,000 experience points. Ryosuke Yagami still didn't expect it to directly combine 2 god level entries into one super god level entry. After all, the 20-fold difference is a bit big. In addition, the synthesis probability of super god level entries is very low when you think about it. Success after 10,000 attempts. Too difficult. it is best to succeed within 100,000 times. Ryosuke Yagami thought to himself. 100,000 times is an expected value that he can accept. However, it will take a long time to accumulate 5 million experience points. But if we can decompose shadow-level powerful people in the future, if biopheromone is used, the amount of experience points Ryosuke Yagami can gain every day will be 10 times that of now. In less than 2 months, he will be able to accumulate 5 million experience points. It's time for Uchiha Madara, the Tool Man, to get busy. Not only Hatake Sakumo, the Uchiha 11 in the parallel ninja world, but also several other parallel ninja worlds, Yagami Ryosuke is planning to arrange one or several tool men there. Help him collect more biopheromone. However, there are too few powerful ninjas at the cage level. Maybe he can go to other planets to look for it? Regarding the issue of going to other planets, Yagami Ryosuke plans to consult a professional. So what is a professional? For example, this is the one in front of you. Why are you here again? Ci. Cien frowned and looked at the blocked way. Don't be afraid, I'm just here to ask you a few questions, and I'll leave after I've asked them. Yakami Ryosuke smiled kindly, looking harmless to humans and animals. But Cien didn't think so. Go ahead. He nodded and admitted defeat, thinking that he would have to hide better this time so that he would not be found by Ryosuke Yagami again. This human being in front of him is too troublesome. What powerful civilizations are there in the universe? I mean, how many civilizations are there where the average individual strength can at least reach the cage level of the ninja world? Do you know their location? Ryosuke Yagami asked. Although Isuke Satsuki has been trapped in the ninja world for 1,000 years, to be honest, the time scale of 1,000 years is only a long time in the ninja world. Looking at the universe, 1,000 years is nothing. Therefore, the information Isuke Satsuki knows should basically be no different from the current situation of various civilizations in the universe. A powerful civilization? Cien shook his head. I can't help you with this. As far as I know, except for our Satsuki clan, other civilizations in the universe are basically ordinary technological civilizations. You want those with strong individual strength, basically does not exist. Doesn't exist? Ryosuke Yagami frowned. He looked at Cien in front of him with suspicion. This guy, are you fooling me? Cien noticed Ryosuke Yagami's expression, and said, don't think I'm fooling you. In fact, the current situation in the ninja world was also caused by Kaguya Satsuki. Otherwise, under normal circumstances, the civilization of this planet, the sacred tree, was already destroyed long after it blossomed and bore fruit. Chakra is the exclusive power system of our Satsuki clan. The ninja world can be said to be the only civilization in the entire universe that has the power system to use chakra. Since you know our Satsuki clan, you should know that a hegemonic civilization like our Satsuki clan will not allow any other civilization to catch up from behind. That's right. With the temper of the Satsuki clan, any civilization that may pose a threat to them will be destroyed early. In addition, they like to plant trees everywhere in the universe. Even some civilizations with potential, will also perish prematurely in their hands. If you think about it this way, there are no other cultivation civilizations in the universe. It is not impossible. Of course, there may be fish that slip through the net in this universe. But the probability is very small, and even if there are, they are very few and very few. It is too difficult to find them in the vast universe. You really deserve to die. Ryosuke Yagami said with an ugly face. Because this means that his plan went bankrupt from the beginning. Without a civilization that is powerful enough, how can he collect a sufficient amount of biological pheromones that can be converted into purple talent entries? Not so with huge biopheromone support. How could he accumulate 5 million experience points in a short period of time? The Satsuki clan, damn it! Yagami Liang's teeth were itching with anger. But there was nothing we could do. Although the Otsutsuki clan in this world has been destroyed in his hands. At least most of the Otsutsuki clan has finished playing. But if you want to completely change the status quo of all civilizations in the entire universe, it will take at least tens of thousands of years. At that time, Yagami Ryusuke had already been equipped with countless super god level talent entries. Why do we need a bunch of biopheromone samples that can convert purple talent entries? Never mind. Sure enough, it was my imagination. Ryusuke Yagami thought to himself. Then, under the watchful gaze of Cicien in front of him, he opened a red portal and disappeared in front of him in an instant. Gone. Cicien confirmed it again and again. Then it was confirmed that the other party was really gone. So he left here quickly. Planned to find a more secluded place to hide. In the past 10 years, he has not been ready to come out. Konoha, the sky is getting dark. After Yagami Ryusuke returned to the ninja world, he first found Uchiha Madara. Then explained his request to him. Although Uchiha Madara was very confused as to why Ryusuke Yagami asked him to collect ninja hair, he didn't ask and just nodded in agreement. Then Ryusuke Yagami told him that he needed a large amount. He must at least be able to provide more than 1,000 pieces of ninja hair a week. After hearing this request, Uchiha Madara thought for a while and finally decided to regain control of the Uchiha clan. Although he had been thinking about this issue before. Because he suddenly lost his goal in life, Uchiha Madara fell into a brief confusion. In this confused process, he thought of Zenjinquin's dream. Grow your family. Become the number one in the ninja world. Although it is said that this is the era of Ninja Village, not the era of the family in the past. But Uchiha Madara didn't think it was a problem. He plans to make Uchiha glorious again. With his Uchiha Madara's power, I believe it is not difficult to do this. Moreover, this coincided with Ryusuke Yagami's request for him. Collecting hair requires so much quantity. To read cool novels, go to Feel a Novel Network. Then of course there must be enough people to handle it. And regaining control of the Uchiha clan can solve this problem. The Uchiha clan in this current timeline has a population of 5 to 6,000. Not everyone is a ninja though. But the ratio of ninjas to ordinary people in the Uchiha clan is also as high as over 80%. Certainly. Most of them don't have great ninja talents. You will only reach the Chunin level in your lifetime. But about 40% of them are expected to reach Jounin level before they turn 30. If the population of the Uchiha clan is 6,000, then, the number of ninjas among them is 4,800. Among these 4,800 ninjas, 40% are expected to reach Jounin level before the age of 30, that is, 1,920 people. And currently, how many Jounin do the Uchiha clan have? A total of 751 people. Of course, this also includes special Jounin levels. There are only about 300 ninjas who are officially above the level of Jounin. And elite Jounin account for about 60% of them. This is an astonishing number. Other ninja clans, even big clans like Hinata. Among the official Jounin in the clan, the proportion of those who can reach the elite Jounin level remains at about 20%. And Uchiha is 3 times as powerful as them. This shows how powerful the Uchiha clan is. This is still the Uchiha of today. If it were during the second generation period, this number would be even greater than it is now. Certainly. It refers more to the elite Jounin level Uchiha, rather than the overall population base. In terms of population base, there are still more people now. After all, the Uchiha clan had only been integrated into Konoha for a few years at that time. The population is only maintained at 2 to 3,000. Just these years to recuperate and recuperate, plus encourage childbirth. That's why the population surged so quickly. And with the huge Uchiha clan collecting ninja hair for Ryusuke Yagami. At least in this parallel ninja world, Yagami Ryusuke no longer needs to worry about insufficient biopheromone. In terms of the number of ninjas in the ninja world as a whole, there are at least 2 to 300,000 ninjas from the 5 major countries combined. Then add various other small countries. Don't look at the small country's ninja village, but its strength. But there are so many people who can't stand it. Taken together, the number of ninja villages in these various large and small ninja villages is more than the ninjas of the 5 major countries combined. Certainly, the quality is not that great. They are basically all genin, and genin can account for about 70% of the number. In other words, 720. The number of ninjas in the entire ninja world is almost 600,000. Although most of them are genin. But there are also a lot of jonin among them. It's just that the film level is too few. No matter how hard you count, you may not be able to come up with dozens of them. After chatting with Madara Uchiha, Ryusuke Yagami temporarily put all these things behind him. Then he found Kusina and Mikoto, who were still shopping. Ryusuke. Here. Kusina saw Ryusuke Yagami, smiled and waved to him. What do you think of this dress? She turned around, and Yeliangja took a look at the skirt she was wearing. It looks good and suits you very well. Ryusuke. Yagami said with a smile. Well, I feel the same way. Boss, I want this skirt. Kusina paid with a smile, then looked at the time and said to Mikoto and Ryusuke Yagami, it's almost dark, are you hungry? How about we go to dinner? Okay, I'm actually a little hungry now. Mikoto touched her belly and nodded with a smile. Then go and eat. What do you want to eat? Ryusuke Yagami asked the two of them. Barbecue. Barbecue. The two said in unison. After saying that, they looked at each other and laughed. Okay, let's go have barbecue. Ryusuke. Yagami made a decision and said. To eat barbecue in Konoha, you must look for the barbecue restaurant opened by the Akimichi clan. Their barbecue is outstanding. Looking at the entire ninja world, it is a first-class existence. The three of them found a barbecue restaurant owned by the Akimichi clan, and then asked the boss for a private room, ordered a lot of barbecue, vegetables, etc., and ordered a few bottles of wine. Come on, cheers. Kusina raised her glass and cheered happily, celebrating that our Mikoto finally got rid of her own destiny, no need to marry that stinky man Uchiha Fugaku. Mikoto blushed and patted Kusina under the table. Sister Mikoto's engagement is cancelled. Ryusuke Yagami took a sip of wine, then put down the cup and asked. Well, cancelled. Uchiha Mikoto nodded. Although it was a bit embarrassing to talk about this in front of friends who just met this year, but after talking about it, it actually didn't matter. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 279. In a barbecue restaurant. In the box, the atmosphere was harmonious. Ryusuke Yagami also knew the whole situation through Mikoto and Kusina's descriptions. It turned out that Mikoto had awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan, and for this reason, with the power of these eyes, she persuaded the Uchiha clan to cancel her engagement with Uchiha Fugaku. Certainly. Uchiha Fugaku definitely disagreed. But the Uchiha clan is not the leader of the clan. Even his father, now the great elder, gave him some advice. After all, this is the Mangekyo Sharingan. They didn't want another pair of awakened Mangekyo to become enemies of the family over the years after their ancestor Uchiha Madara. Therefore, it is too late for the entire Uchiha to please Mikoto. Naturally, she would not be forced to marry Uchiha Fugaku. However, this does not come without a cost. The price is that Mikoto's life will definitely not be as easy as in the past. The pressure from the family will be on her shoulders. As the only owner of the Mangekyo Sharingan in the Uchiha clan. The burden on her will be countless times heavier than before. It's all that Uchiha Fugaku's fault. Kusina took a big sip of wine with an unhappy look on her face, put down the glass and said angrily if it weren't for him, Mikoto wouldn't have exposed her eyes so quickly, and she might even be feared by the village. Yagami Ryusuke looked at her in surprise. It's really strange to hear these words from Kusina's mouth. Why are you looking at me like that? Kusina blinked in confusion and asked. It's nothing, just a little surprised. Do you think Sister Mikoto will be afraid of the village if she awakens these kaleidoscopes? Ryusuke Yagami said. Yes. Kusina nodded, looked at Mikoto sitting next to her, and said with a worried look actually, the relationship between the village and Uchiha has always been quite tense. It was like this when the third generation was in power. Now that the fourth generation has taken over, the situation has actually not improved much. If the upper echelons of the village knew that Mikoto-san had awakened the legendary Mangekyo Sharingan, they would definitely be even more afraid of the Uchiha clan. It's okay, Kusina Mikoto said with a smile, and in turn comforted Kusina. In fact, the relationship between the family and the village is not that bad. In the past, the third generation and the elders had a grudge against our Uchiha clan, but now the relationship between the senior fourth generation and our Uchiha clan is actually quite good. Even though the Yondaime is not yet fully in power, I believe that the relationship between the village and the clan will become closer and closer in the future. It can be seen that Mikoto actually knows a lot about these things. Unlike Uchiha Mikoto in Ryusuke Yagami's world, she was a housewife in the later period and had no opinion at all on issues involving her son, clan, and village. Ryusuke, regarding Mikoto's eyes, don't reveal it to others for the time being. It's still a secret. Kusina nodded, and then suddenly said to Yagami Ryusuke. Don't worry, I'm very strict. Yagami. Ryusuke made a gesture and said. Mikoto also has a good impression of Yagami Ryusuke and is willing to believe Yagami Ryusuke. Otherwise, she would not tell him this secret today. Although. This in fact, you can't hide this kind of thing for long. The first Hokage Madara Uchiha Ryusuke Yagami, are you finished with the sixth generation? Ryusuke Yagami, who was eating, sensed that there was Ite himself in the group, and he also focused part of his attention on the chat group. Seeing that it was Madara Uchiha in Ite himself, Ryusuke Yagami also sent a question mark over. First Hokage Uchiha Madara, it's about the Itsutsuki Ishiki. Didn't you say before, 6th generation, that you wanted to talk about this Itsutsuki Ishiki? 6th generation Hokage Ryusuke Yagami. Oh. I forgot. The 4th Hokage Heitake Sakumo. 6th generation Hokage Ryusuke Yagami. Haha. Don't worry, what do you want to know? The first Hokage Uchiha Madara. I mainly want to know what the purpose of this Itsutsuki Ishiki is hiding in the ninja world. And what is his strength? The 6th Hokage Ryusuke Yagami. The purpose of hiding in the ninja world, actually, there is no special purpose. When Itsutsuki Ishiki and Itsutsuki Kagaya came to this planet that was not the ninja world, the purpose was to plant God's tree, picking the fruits of the sacred tree. The 6th Hokage Yagami Ryusuke among them, Itsutsuki Ishiki is a member of the Itsutsuki clan, while Itsutsuki Kagaya is a member of the branch family. Generally speaking, Itsutsuki Kagaya's final fate is that of a member of the clan. Itsutsuki Ishiki sacrificed himself and became part of his power, but Itsutsuki Kagaya was unwilling to accept it, so he attacked Itsutsuki Ishiki in the process and destroyed his body. First Hokage Senju Hashirama. The clan is divided. Isn't this similar to the Hyuga clan? Second generation Hokage Senju Tobirama. Brother, shut up. Listen to the 6th generation. 6th Hokage Ryusuke Yagami. But it's almost the same. Itsutsuki Ishiki has been hiding in the ninja world all these years, just to successfully plant the sacred tree again, and then return to the Itsutsuki clan, but his body was destroyed by Itsutsuki Kagaya. Lost it, Now I can only reincarnate my soul into other suitable containers. 6th generation Hokage Ryusuke Yagamaya. The Otsutsuki Ishiki also improved the power of the Otsutsuki clan's bond. Over the past 1,000 years, he has been looking for the most suitable container for the power of bond, but he has not yet found one. First Hokage Uchiha Madara. Is this contract strong? The 6th Hokage Ryusuke Yagamaya. It is very strong and can strengthen a person's strength in all aspects. The more seals are unlocked, the more strengthened it is. It can strengthen the strength up to 19 times. And it can be superimposed with other modes, such as reincarnation, I-Chakra mode, 6-path mode, etc. First Hokage Senju Hashirama. It looks very powerful. Then is this Otsutsuki Ishiki powerful? 6th generation Hokage Yagamai Ryusuke. Under normal conditions, the super shadow level can reach the 6th level explosion, but the body will collapse and the battery life will not be long. Anyway, you guys will definitely not be able to defeat it. The good news is that he has been dormant for now. Status: I won't trouble you. First Hokage Senju Hashirama. I can still fight under normal conditions, but I can't fight when I explode. Sure enough, my strength is still too weak. 2nd generation Hokage Senju Tobirama. Brother, do you want to listen to what you are saying? Your strength is too weak? Then who are we? Who are the Kage levels like Minato and Sakumo? First Hokage Senju Hashirama. But he is really weak. The 4th Hokage Minato Namikaze. The 4th Hokage Hatake Sakumo. Sandame Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. So, am I not worthy of being mentioned? The 6th Hokage Yagamai Ryusuke. Okay, Otsutsuki Ishiki is not a threat to you, it can even be regarded as a motivation for you to improve your strength. Sakumo Senpai, I have already solved the Otsutsuki Kagaya in this world. The Otsutsuki clan in the universe is basically dead, but I have left the Otsutsuki style intact, leaving it to you, Sakumo Senpai, to solve it yourself. The 4th Hokage Hatake Sakumo. Actually, it's not necessary. The 1st Hokage Uchiha Madara. It's just a 6th level who lost his physical body, but he actually scared you like this. 2nd generation Hokage Senju Tobirama. Listening to your tone, those who didn't know better thought you were already at the 6th level. But when I looked at your business card, I thought, wow. Aren't you still at the super shadow level? The 1st Hokage Uchiha Madara. Do you know where my limit is again? The super shadow level will soon be gone in a certain parallel ninja world. After seeing the message sent by Uchiha Madara in the chat group, Chi and the palms of my hands also frowned. Could it be that this Uchiha Madara is about to awaken his samsara eye? Thinking of the samsara eyes, Senju Tobirama couldn't help but look at the points he had saved. It was more than 50,000, almost 6. But there was still a huge gap between the 750,000 needed to buy a pair of samsara eyes. I am so poor, I never imagined that I, Kinjo Fijian, would one day become a poor man. Senju Tobirama smiled bitterly and shook his head. Regarding the improvement of Uchiha Madara's strength in the chat group, Senju Tobirama was actually a little unhappy. After all, the other party was not Ryusuke Yagamai, and he could not come to the ninja where he was. World. In this case, it will not affect him personally. Naturally, there is no need to care too much. If the other party was not Uchiha Madara, whom he hates the most, to be honest, Senju Tobirama would not have any emotional changes at all. Norao is the big brother in another world doing. To read exciting novels, go to Fila Novel Network. Don't fall too far behind Uchiha Madara. Senju Tobirama thought. It was around 10 o'clock in the evening. Ryusuke Yagamai and Mikoto helped Kushina, who was already drunk, to come out of the barbecue restaurant. Really, I knew I couldn't drink too much, but I ended up drinking so much. Mikoto helplessly looked at Kushina, who was so drunk that it was difficult to even walk. Ryusuke, please send Kushina home with me first. She turned to Yagami Ryusuke on the other side and said with an apologetic look on her face. It's okay, I'm Kushina's friend too, as it should be. Yagami Ryusuke said. Along the way, the two of them supported Kushina, who shouted a few drunken words from time to time, and walked on the empty and quiet streets of Konoha. It was late at night, and because it was wartime, there was no one in the village. Occasionally, you can see some figures passing quickly from the roof of the nearby building. They are UMBU members patrolling in the village. During the war, the safety of the village was basically handed over to the UMBU. But the number is smaller than that of the UMBU members. In peacetime, it is indeed much less. After all, most of the serious people have gone to the front line. I don't know when this war will end. Mikoto glanced at the UMBU running in the darkness and sighed. It's coming soon, it should be over in a year or two at most. Ryusuke Yagami said. In fact, it may not take as long as 1 or 2 years. After all, Uchiha Madara will soon regain control of the Uchiha clan. By then, with his character, he will definitely announce his return to the entire ninja world. When the time comes, Shura from the shinobi world returns again. How can the other villages cower in fear? How can they dare to start a war with Konoha again? Of course, Uchiha Madara may not necessarily help Konoha. But Ryusuke Yagami told him the mission also requires Uchiha Madara to show off his strength. After all, in this era, many years have passed since he and Hashirama conquered the world. How many of these ninjas are still active in the ninja world today? Have you ever seen the power of Shura, the ninja world? Therefore, Uchiha Madara needs a stage for him to show his power. And the battlefield is undoubtedly the best stage. Hope it ends soon. Mikoto said quietly. Soon, the two of them sent Kushina home. Then Yumikoto took Kushina back to the room and helped her take off her shoes and coat. As for the clothes inside, Mikoto didn't touch them either. He directly laid Kushina flat on the bed, covered him with a quilt and came out. I'm sorry to trouble you today. Mikoto came out of the room and saw Yagami Ryusuke sitting in the living room, and came over to express her gratitude again. Sister Mikoto, are you going back tonight? Yagami Ryusuke asked. Hearing this, Mikoto shook her head. No, I'll just rest here at Kushina for a night today. And you? Want to stay? There are still empty guest rooms upstairs. Mikoto asked. Not too square well, I'd better go back to the hotel. Ryusuke Yagami shook his head. After all, they had only known each other for a day. If they really lived under the same roof, there was no telling what Mikoto would think of him. Then let me give it to you. Mikoto said. In fact, she felt a little regretful as soon as she spoke. She was just polite subconsciously, but after saying that, she was a little worried about whether Yagami Ryusuke would really agree to stay the night. This is a lonely man and a widow. Or at my best friend's house. Fortunately, Yagami Ryusuke did not agree. This made Mikoto secretly sigh in relief, and her favorable impression of Ryusuke Yagami improved a lot. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 280. The next day, in the morning, Kushina held her swollen head with one hand and sat up from the bed. Woo! My head hurts so much. Kushina muttered, turning around and getting out of bed, kicking her way to the bathroom in her slippers. Dong dong dong. Kushina, are you up? At this time, Mikoto's voice came from outside the door. Well, get up. Kushina, who had washed her face with cold water, turned around and responded. A few minutes later, she came out of the bathroom, and she was much more awake. Click. The door opened. Kusina came out of the room and saw her in pajamas. Mikoto was standing outside the door looking at her with a smile. Mikoto. Kusina giggled and hugged her. Go away, you haven't changed your clothes yet and you smell like alcohol. Mikoto patted her angrily, but she didn't really push Kusina away. Hee. You won't dislike me, right? Kusina said with a smile, letting go of Mikoto and looking around. What are you looking for? Mikoto asked curiously. Where is Ryusuke? Kusina asked. He sent you home last night and left. Mikoto said. Ah. Didn't you let him stay? Kusina said in surprise. When Mikoto heard this, she immediately put her hands on her hips angrily and said, You also said that you had no idea how embarrassed you were after drinking so much wine yesterday. It was just the first day that Ryusuke and I met, but you, an unreliable guy, got so drunk that you left the two of us alone and helped you home. Hee. Mikoto, you are my best bestie. Kusina smiled and said, Yes, what do you think of Ryusuke? Oh, this young handsome guy. Go, no matter how old Ryusuke is, I am already a round older than him. Mikoto said angrily. So what if it's just one round, and I see, Ryusuke likes a big sister like Mikoto, you are gentle and considerate. Kusina said with a smile like a fox. There is always no right way to go. Mikoto shook her head helplessly and said, Besides, don't think I can't see it. You are the one who is interested in Ryusuke, right? How? Are you testing me on purpose? Are you afraid that I will steal the man you like? Yes, I quite like Ryusuke 960. Kusina smiled and admitted openly, but if you like it too, Mikoto, I don't mind sharing it with you. After all, we are good sisters. Still saying? I'll beat you again. Mikoto pretended to be angry and raised her hand. Kusina immediately ran away with a smile. After a moment, Kusina poked her head out from around the corner. I'm serious, think about it. Speaking, Kusina winked at Mikoto. Then she ran away before Mikoto got angry. This stinky girl. Mikoto stood there and stamped her feet angrily. However, thinking of what Kusina said just now, Mikoto couldn't help but think of Yagami Ryusuke's face in her mind. For a moment, she blushed and shook her head. What are you thinking about? Mikoto, Ryusuke is so much younger than you, are you embarrassed to do it? She whispered to herself. Besides, Kusina has already said that she likes Ryusuke. Is it possible that she really wants to share a man with her good sister? This is too ridiculous. Mikoto shook her head and forced herself not to thinking about these things again. He turned and walked towards the guest room. Konoha. Yagami's house. After coming back last night, Yagami Ryusuke stayed up until midnight, and woke up early this morning. Recently, his sleep is getting shorter and shorter. Even if he wants to sleep, he can't fall asleep. Especially after his normal strength reaches the god level. The chakra of the god in his body begins to feed back to his body, making Ryusuke Yagami feel every step of his body. New changes are happening every moment. The most intuitive point is that what he eats into his stomach will no longer leave any food residue or the like. It will be purified directly. That is said, Ryusuke Yagami can say goodbye to the toilet. And his mental state is getting better and better. He seems to have inexhaustible energy every moment. He obviously worked hard for 5 or 6 hours yesterday. Zionin and Yukito and the others were all exhausted. But Ryusuke Yagami, the person who contributed the most, was not tired at all. Instead, he was still as energetic as ever and felt like he could fight another 30,000 rounds. The difference between god level and non-god level is really huge. Ryusuke Yagami thought to himself. He walked out of the kitchen and poured a glass of water, then walked to the balcony and looked at the beautiful scenery of the garden in the yard. At the same time, he took out a copy of a god-level powerful creature from the system's biopheromone warehouse. Pheromones. System, convert it? Ryosuke Yagami thought silently in his heart. Ding. Conversion successful. Congratulations to the host for getting the talent entry. Yagami Ryosuke took a look and found that the 3 entries of the transformation were exactly the same as the 3 entries of the god-level powerhouse who was transformed for the first time last time. Even the entry for no 3 in the world is the same, but in this case, the remaining portion should be able to be transformed into a golden entry for no 2 in the world. Ryosuke Yagami chuckled. Although all 3 entries were repeated, this was the result he had thought of. There was no such thing as disappointment. Moreover, the god-level entries he repeated now were there are 2. And both are entries for power of God. 2 identical entries are synthesized. If a super god-level entry is successfully synthesized, will it be possible to synthesize a superior entry of God's power? Ryosuke Yagami thought to himself. He opened the synthesis interface of the system. Then he put 2 God's power entries on it. One synthesis is still 50 experience points. It's not because the synthesized entries are God-level words. The price increases every time. This is what Yagami Ryosuke likes most about this synthesis function. The price will never increase. And after the system is updated, the price will also decrease. It's great. 50 experience points once, it's not expensive. Night Kami Ryosuke directly clicked the synthesis button 30 times. Ding. Synthesis failed. Ding. Synthesis failed. Ding. Synthesis failed. Continuous failure prompts, a full 30 times, without exception. It's really difficult. Ryosuke Yagami took a sip of water, and the expression on his face did not change. He continued to synthesize. 100 times. 200 times. 300 times. As the number of synthesis continued to increase, time passed minute by minute. 2 hours finally. Ryosuke Yagami has arrived at the Hokage's office. To read cool novels, go to Fila Novel Network. While looking at a document handed over by Konoha, he glanced at it and signed his name at the bottom. The famous name. While in the system synthesis interface in his mind, the 2 god-level entries were still being synthesized again and again. Ryosuke Yagami discovered for the first time that spending money is quite time-consuming and laborious. More than 2 hours, he synthesizes once every 1.5 seconds on average. So far, he has synthesized it almost 5,000 times. It cost about 250,000 experience points. And the result is without exception, all failed. The 5,000 synthesis failures did not surprise Yeshen. Ryosuke was unexpected. It took time and money, and it felt really weird. Especially, this was the first time that Yagami Ryosuke had done such a BBFB, arrogant synthesis. He had synthesized gold before at the time of the entry. How could anyone be as arrogant as now? At that time, it cost 100 experience points to combine once, but Yagami Ryosuke always saved thousands of experience points before merging. The total before and after was just dozens or hundreds of times. It's nothing like now, it was synthesized 5,000 times in one breath, without even blinking. The feeling of being rich is really different. What a pity. Yagami Ryosuke is still not rich enough. No. 500,000 experience points. More than half of this has been spent. As usual. Ryosuke Yagami still stayed in his own world in the morning to deal with official village affairs. Then he had lunch with Hinata and Ino at noon. In the afternoon, I went to the parallel ninja world over Hatake Sakumo. This time, Yagami Ryosuke came here mainly to see if he could find other civilizations hidden in the universe. Although he had asked at Satsuki is Heike before, the other party said no. but Yagami Ryusuke still wanted to give it a try. What if there was? So Yagami Ryusuke spent an entire afternoon using Hirazaka of Hamizu to randomly teleport no less than tens of thousands of times. During this period, he discovered that there is life. There are 156 planets. However, 155 of them are populated by strange-looking groups of life, and their individual strength is extremely weak. Traces of human beings have been found on the last planet. But it is still in the early ancient times, and the individual strength is extremely weak. Still weak. It seems that there is really no more. Yagami Ryusuke, who had been looking for nothing all afternoon, also gave up. Anyway, he is not just in this back garden. There is no need to stick around here. Therefore, Yagami Ryusuke gave up quite simply. There was no trace of it at all. A trace of muddiness. After giving up the search for a powerful civilization that might exist, Yagami Ryusuke also asked Kushina and Mikoto to go out for dinner and shopping together. I don't know why, but after not seeing each other for a day, Mikoto became a little weird. Yagami Ryusuke found that she was peeking at him several times, and she would blush. Yagami Ryusuke looked confused, and he didn't understand what happened during the time they were separated. In the evening, Yagami Ryusuke as usual, returned to his own world to rest. In the next few days, Ryusuke Yagami did not go to the parallel world of ninjas with Sakumo Hatake, but went to the parallel worlds of several other Hokages in the group. But this time he didn't touch too many worlds, and he didn't even chat with a few group members offline. He went directly to the planet Atsutsuki, and then slaughtered him in a wave. He took care of the Atsutsuki clan in 5 worlds. Again, not to mention he has gained nearly 80 billion group points. He also obtained 15 pairs of gods and reincarnation eyes. I don't know if it is such a coincidence. The Atsutsuki clan in every world has 3 god-level powerful men. Among them are twice, Ryusuke Yagami met an invincible strong man. The other 3 worlds were all the same as the parallel world of Hatake Sakumo. The strongest was only the peak of god level. But facing Ryusuke Yagami, he was invincible. The power. No matter whether it is the peak god level or the invincible god level, he can't make a single move in his hands. They are all just ants that are instantly killed in one encounter. There is no difference. And the entries that are transformed later are also similar. But this, on the contrary, Yagami Ryusuke has 25 more god-level entries. 24 of them are duplicates and cannot be equipped. There is only 1 entry for second in the world, which Yagami Ryusuke does not have and can be equipped. Superior. Second in the world, Gold. You are one of the only 3 god-level powerful people in the universe, so your strength can be ranked second in the world. Congratulations, entering the top 2. Physical fitness add 1500%. Physical power add 1500%. Chakra add 1500%. The attributes of the entry second in the world are actually similar to third in the world. The difference is the value of no 2 in the world is higher. Each item is 500% more. However, for Yagami Ryusuke, entries like this can only be said to be dispensable. Can't say it's useless. But it's really not that useful. On this day, Ryusuke Yagami was sitting in the Hokage's office, watching boredly as the second-generation Hokage Senju Tobirama in the Hokage chat group was complaining about his disciples who didn't let him worry. Senju Tobirama would complain about several of his disciples almost every once in a while. The key is that he didn't really fire these disciples. Still keep them. Yagami Ryusuke felt that Senju Tobirama was angry with himself in other worlds. He wants to work hard to do things that he has not been able to do in other worlds. For example, training Danzo and Sarutobi Hiruzen into the kind of people who are truly worthy of entrusting the village to them. Pity. It was too late for Senju Tobirama to join the group. If he had joined the group a few years earlier, when Shimura Danzo and Sarutobi Hiruzen were still young, there might have been a chance to change. But now, both Danzo Shimura and Hiruzen Sarutobi are almost 20-year-old adults. His character has already been set. Where does it say that it can be changed by changing it? Yagami Ryusuke felt that he had had enough. However, Senshou Tobirama is quite stubborn and unwilling to accept this fact, and then makes himself very angry every day. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 281. Isn't this just looking for trouble for yourself? Yagami Ryusuke felt that Senju Tobirama in the group had something wrong with his mind. In the blink of an eye, it has been half a month since the invasion. Why don't these people in the group show any improvement in their strength? Yagami Ryusuke boredly scrolled through the list of group members and looked at their personal names. Yesterday, the chat group's combat power rankings were refreshed for the second time. Naturally, Yagami Ryusuke ranked first on the list. But the strength of the other 6 people has almost not changed. What they were like half a month ago is still the same now. For example, Senju Hashirama is still at the quasi 6th level. Uchiha Madara is still invincible at the Super Shadow level. And Sarutobi Hikut, well, he's still at the bottom. This gave Ryusuke Yagami the feeling that they had joined this chat group for nothing. On the contrary, he is the strongest. It has been refreshed from the last 6-level invincibility to the current entry-level God level. This issue was discussed in the group yesterday. Ryusuke Yagami gave the 6 of them a brief introduction to what God level is. On the other hand, they also asked about their respective situations. The result was similar to Ryusuke Yagami's estimate. The strength has improved again, but there is no qualitative improvement. What is qualitative improvement? For example, from Shadow level to Super Shadow. From Super Shadow to 6 levels. This is a qualitative improvement. But even Minato Namikaze, whose strength has improved most rapidly in the group, has not yet crossed the threshold of the Super Shadow level. Changed. Ryusuke Yagami suddenly discovered that the strength rating on Namikaze Minato's business card had changed. From the peak of the Shadow level, it directly became the quasi-Super Shadow level. How did Namikaze Minato's strength increase so much at once? Ryusuke Yagami thought in confusion. Then he opened the chat group and saw that someone had discovered the change in Minato Namikaze's strength like him and had discussed it in the chat group. The 4th Hokage Heitake Sakumo Namikaze Minato. My dear, Minato, you are so quiet that you are almost at the Super Shadow level? How come your strength has improved so much all of a sudden? 2nd generation Hokage Senju Tobirama quasi Super Shadow level? Let's see. It's true, it seems that Minato has been silently working hard to improve his strength during this time. The 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato, haha. Aren't I stressed? After all, maybe in another year my incompetent student will come to the village to cause havoc. If I don't have enough strength, how can I protect myself? His wife and children. 1st Hokage Senju Hashirama, that's right. The reason why we ninjas work hard to practice and improve our strength is to better protect our family and friends. The 1st Hokage Uchiha Madara, it's only about the Super Shadow level, he still has a lot of things to work on. Sandaime Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, Sandaime, can I ask how your strength improved so quickly? The 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato, of course. In fact, I just completed the practice of Sage Mode. I was practicing the Sage Mode of MT Miyaboku before, but I didn't make much progress. I finally entered it today with great difficulty. Immortal Mode, so the strength has been greatly improved. The 2nd Hokage Senju Tobirama Madara Uchiha, the 4th generation, has been promoted from the peak Shadow level to the quasi-Super Shadow level. What about you? Why don't you see any improvement? 1st Hokage Senju Hashirama, it turns out to be Sage Mode, no wonder. The fourth Hokage Heitake Sakumo Sage Mode. It looks like I have to try to learn it too. The first Hokage Uchiha Madara Trash Tobirama. When I awaken my Samsara I will be able to advance directly to the 6th level in one step. And what about you? What do you have? Second generation Hokage Senju Tobirama. What do I have? Sorry, I recently developed 2 more S-level forbidden techniques, and I earned a small profit of 10,000 points. The first Hokage Uchiha Madara screenshot.jpg. 10,000 points? A lot. Points, 118.500. The screenshot shows Uchiha Madara's point balance. A total of more than 110,000 points. It made Kenju Tobirama's eyelids twitch a few times. I don't want to talk anymore. He worked hard to develop 2 S-level forbidden techniques, and only bought them for 10,000 points. And what about Uchiha Madara? He relies on selling the family's Sharingan. I have already earned so many points. Yes. Uchiha Madara is selling Sharingan. It's just that the Sharingan he sold was not plucked from his master, but obtained from the late Uchiha. Originally, these Sharinans would be collected by the Uchiha clan as consumables for using Izanagi. But now, most of them have been taken out by Uchiha Madara and put on the shelves in the shopping mall. In exchange for a large amount of points income. That's why he has more than 110,000 points. This is because Sharinans like 3 Megatama and 2 Megatama are not very valuable. Otherwise, if Uchiha Madara can sell a few pairs of kaleidoscopes, his points balance will probably increase several times. 6th Hokage Ryusuke Yagamai Sage Mode is indeed a good way to improve your strength. Madara can also learn it, and so can Tobirama Senpai. First Hokage Uchiha Madara 6th generation, can you please stop calling me Madara? The 6th Hokage Ryusuke Yagamai. Okay, Madara. The first Hokage Uchiha Madara. If it weren't for me, I couldn't beat you. Uchiha Madara's Sharingan opened. Staring fiercely at the messages in the chat group. The second Hokage Senju Tobirama. Did you hear that, Madara? Damn Senju Tobirama. Excellent scholar. To read exciting novels, go to Fila Novel Network. Uchiha Madara took a few deep breaths. Don't let yourself get angry. At this time. In the chat group, Namikaze Minato also talked about some of his experiences in learning Sage Mode for the reference of other people in the group. Uchiha Madara didn't want to see it. But I thought that if I learn the Immortal Mode, my strength may catch up with Hasalama in advance. So he also looked at it seriously. Immortal Mode, he really hasn't had much exposure to this. This is something Hasalama is good at, but Uchiha Madara doesn't know how to do it. Namikaze Minato is such a good gentleman. Looking at Namikaze Minato, who was sharing his experience of learning Sage Mode in the group, Yagamai Ryusuke also sighed in his heart. This little son is indeed a nice person. However, Yagamai Ryusuke will not learn from him. A good person. What a loss. He is not the kind of person who likes to suffer losses. In contrast, he prefers to take advantage. Please give me flowers. However, at this stage, the only thing that can improve the strength of group members is the Immortal Mode. Others, such as Jinchuriki, are of no use to the 2 first generations. Senju Tobirama is fine, but becoming a perfect Jinchuriki is too troublesome and cannot be achieved in a short time. In comparison, the Immortal Mode is much simpler. Of course. It's also relative. To be honest, the current Naruto chat group is really not of great help to the improvement of the strength of other group members. The only group mall that helps improve the strength is because Yagamai Ryusuke. The relationship between them has made everyone look down on those ordinary products. They all want to save points to buy a pair of reincarnation eyes, or get an Otsutsuki bloodline to go back to. Therefore, among the few Hokages in the group, almost no one spends money in the group mall. Yes. It's just to keep putting various products on the shelves, and then save those pitiful points to see when I can save hundreds of thousands. But at their speed. To be honest, hang. Even Uchiha Madara, who has the most points, only has nearly 120,000 points. It's still far away from the 750,000 that a pair of reincarnation eyes can command. Moreover, what Uchiha Madara wants to buy is not the Rinnegan, but the Otsutsuki bloodline. This is what he needs. Namikaze Minato shared some of his insights on Sage Mode in the group. This has also benefited other group members a lot. In particular, several of the Hokages who had already had ideas about the Sage Mode were already making preparations to start practicing in the Sage Mode. Among them, the one who moves the fastest is Senju Tobirama. He actually has a good understanding of the Immortal Mode, but he has never really used it before. But now, Senju Tobirama feels that it's time for him to learn something new. 6th generation Hokage Ryusuke Yagami Sage Mode is pretty good. At least for people below the 6th path level, it can improve combat power a lot. You can all learn it. The 4th Hokage Hatake Sakumo, I find it difficult. Maybe I should go to the 3 holy places to sign a psychic contract. The 1st Hokage Senju Hashirama, I recommend Shijulin. I learned the Sage Mode of Shijulin. Nidame Hokage Senju Tobirama brother, I also plan to learn the Sage Mode of the Shimagun Forest. Do you have any experience notes or anything like that? 1st Hokage Senju Hashirama, I'll look for it. If it's not there, I'll write you a copy. Madara, do you want it? The 1st Hokage Uchiha Madara. It's just a Sage Mode, it's not worth mentioning to me. 2nd generation Hokage Senju Tobirama, then don't learn it if you have the ability. 1st Hokage Uchiha Madara Hashirama, take care of your brother. 1st Hokage Senju Hashirama, haha. Although I really want to promise you, Madara. But it can't be done. Tobirama in the group is not from the same world as me. He is just Senju Hashirama from another world. Just time. The 1st Hokage Madara Uchiha. You are so useless, Hashirama. If it were Izuna, he would listen to my words. It would be the same no matter which world Izuna is in.